I'll teach you how to perform vestibular orientation with 3D slicer. Performing an orientation in 3D is materializing planes, which match your selected landmarks. Thus, you need to be able to reorient the 2D slices until you could see your landmarks along in the same plane. To do that, you need to toggle on the plane intersection display. This is the square up on the menu bar. And if you tick it, you can see what it's done for. Here, there's the arrow. So, if you toggle it, cross lines appear in the 2D displays. And if you tick the interaction box, you can act on the cross lines to move the slice. A left click on the cross moves it all around. A left click on the line close to the cross will translate the line, and a left click far from the cross rotates the lines, the lines. We start looking for the lateral semicircular canal by scrolling the red lines in the green display until it appears in the red display here. Set the cross on it and go to the green display, and you rotate the red line until the second canal appears in the red display here. So you align the green line in the red display, and then you have set the pairs axis. Now go to the yellow display, enlarge the view to have a good definition of the two dots corresponding to the canal, and align the red lines with the centers of both here. Then you can see that in the red display, you have reached the vestibular, the horizontal vestibular plane. So now you will go to the yellow display and move the line, the yellow line, at a mid-distance between the two lateral semicircular canal, and then in the yellow display, you can see that you have reached the mid-sagittal plane. Note that your landmarks are displayed in the 3 view. You just have to draw the corresponding planes. So to do that, you switch on the markups model, and you drag a plane first to the red display. You set the control point on the cross. You resize it with the interaction handles, and it's not parallel. So you go to display and you tick interaction handles and then enable rotation. And when you enable rotation, you can rotate the plane to make it parallel to the line. And then you will add within the scaling to match the volume. And then you have materialized the horizontal vestibular plane. But for better readability, you need to switch off the many glyphs. So you do that on the display, and you go to the interaction handles and tick off the visibility. And when you tick off the visibility, the handles disappear. So you have to make disappear. See, in advanced, you can switch off the outline and the property label. You still have the control point. You turn it on and you click on the A to make disappear. And you have still the arrow, which is in the plane settings, and click off, and you just keep the plane. Last step, I used to set the plane's color red, like the color of the horizontal display. You do that by clicking in the box shown by the arrow, and then so you will go on doing exactly the same manners for the frontal plane in green, and exactly the same, doing the rotation, doing the resizing to match the volume, and then hide all the glyphs, set the color, and since it is a frontal, you give it the green color, yeah. And then again, the same for the mid-sagittal plane in yellow. It will be yellow. So resizing, rotating, resizing, resizing, isoglyphs, and set the color yellow. Now the oriented planes have been drawn, and you, you can move it in 3D and see it's okay. But for further manipulation, you will need a model of the skull and display this model in the 3D. So you open the segment editor model, you created a new skeletal segment, you set the threshold for 250 UH, you display the result in 3D, yeah, and you will remove everything that is not the skull. It's better to use different editing tools until you keep only the skulls. So the island tool is quite helpful, but you need some more. You could use the chisels, and you could use eraser in 2D view. That's another training. Okay, until you keep only the skull. So Here you got it. I name the segment skull in the data model, and I will right-click on the segment export to export visible segment to models. So it will create the models. So when to the open data, right-click in the menu, you find export volume segmentation to model. And there you have your model. This is the model oriented. You can see in the different position. The model can be edited in the model. It must be selected, then you can edit it. In visibility, you can change the transparency of the model. In color, you can change the color. But very interesting is to go to the 3D display menu where you can change the representation from surface to wireframe. To ameliorate the readability in wireframe mode, you will need to decimate the resolution with Surface Toolbox in Surface Model. And you have to select the skull as input model, and either select the skull or create a new model as an output model. And choose decimate, set to 0.8 is good, and you run it, and it decreases the number of triangle, and it's more readable for the next purpose. Thank you.